Good morning. Welcome to the Board of Public Works and Safety Agenda meeting for March 6th. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Let's call it to order by standing and saying the national anthem. National anthem, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for saying the right. Roll call to confirm quorum, please, sir.
Member Green,
Present?
Member Allen,
Present.
Vice President Dumas,
Present.
and President Suggs.
Present.
Mr. President, we have 4 present, 1 absent.
With a attendance of 4 and 1 absent, we do have quorum. The meeting is officially called to order. I'd like to go to item number 3, approval of minutes from the February 28th meeting.
Mr. President, I move to approve the minutes from the February 28th, 2024 meeting.
There is a motion on the floor for approval.
Second.
It has been approved. It has been seconded by William. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. I'd like to move over to item 4, the claims, please.
Okay. Mr. Chair, we have before us the approval of claims to be paid on March 8th, 2024. General fund is $163,156.56. Local roads and streets, health and human services, landfill closure, community development, healthy family, HIV prevention, COVID-19 health, Hope 6 pilot, and CCI, $178,228.64. For special revenues, we have the public safety income tax, $314,411.98, and the ARPA rescue plan, $285,000, for a total of $940,797.18 to be paid on March 8th.
Do I have a motion to approve the claims to be paid?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, have a roll call.
Member Green,
Yes?
Member Allen,
Yes.
Vice President Dumas,
Yes.
and President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 4 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 4-0, the motion carries. Claims will be paid.
We also have before us ratification for payroll. February 9th is $2,174,305.56. And February 23rd is $2,176,019.25.
I will entertain a motion for the ratification of payroll.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Member Green,
Yes.
Member Allen,
Yes.
Vice President Dumas,
Yes.
and President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 4 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 4-0, the ratification of payroll has been approved.
And we also have ratification of payroll deductions for pension. Pension fire and pension police total is $8,695.
I will entertain a motion for the ratification of deductions of payroll.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, please a roll call.
Member Green,
Yes.
Member Allen,
Yes.
Vice President Dumas,
Yes.
and President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 4 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 4-0, the ratification deduction of payroll has been approved.
Thank you.
Let's move on to item number 5, correspondence and agreements.
Yes, Mr. President, we have correspondence from the Public Works Department in reference to residential handicap parking signs for new applications. We have the following addresses: 1141 Maryland Street, 1338 Roosevelt Place. At this time, Mr. President, I would like to move to accept both of those new applications as all documentation has been verified and required fees have been paid.
There's a motion on the floor for approval of handicap signs.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries for the ratification. The residential handicap parking new.
Mr. President, also from the Board of Public Work, the Public Works Department, for the residential disabled parking signage for renewals, we have the following addresses: 3769 Jackson Street, 4163 Monroe Street, 3494 Rhode Island Street, 536 Taft Street, and 425 Johnston Street. All submitted documentation has been verified and required fees have been paid. At this time, Mr. President, I move to accept all renewal of residential handicap parking signs.
There's a motion for the renewal of the 5 addresses for handicap parking signs. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Mr. President, members of the board, from correspondence. Sorry about that. Hello. Mr. President, members of the board, correspondence from the engineering department. We have a temporary road closure and traffic reroute. EcoRealm is requesting a temporary road closure and reroute of traffic from Marquette Drive to Newton Street and Forest Avenue to conduct controlled burns. The same reroute is to be used for future planned control burns for the spring and fall burn seasons. The request is for approval for a full calendar year. The engineering department has reviewed the submittal and has no objections. EcoRealm approval is contingent upon environmental affairs permit approval, 48-hour notice, and then public safety coordination.
There's a motion on the floor for approval of a temporary road closure and reroute for controlled burns. Is there a second of that motion?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries for the temporary road closure and reroute.
Mr. President, correspondence from the Law Department in reference to IDM Pollution Prevention Grant. The Indiana Department of Environmental Management has provided the City of Gary with a grant in the amount of $508,678.08. This is in reference to securing 2 historical dumping sites that has been noted for illegal dumping. The scope of work is attached to the correspondence. This will provide the installation of high-resolution security cameras, perimeter fencing, and other modes of securing both sites. The 2 sites that will be secured will be 1000 North Clark Road and 890 Chase Street. At this time, Mr. President, I would move to accept the funds from IDM to the City of Gary for securing those sites.
There's a motion on the floor to accept funds from IDEM in the order of a grant to secure sites for dumping. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion
Sorry,
on?
just to add a discussion, there are no matching requirement funds, only a reporting out mechanism in regards to the scope of work.
Thank you. Any discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, roll call please for approval.
Member Green,
Yes.
Member Allen,
Yes.
Vice President Dumas,
Yes.
and President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 4 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 4-0, the IDM pollution grant has been approved. Accepted.
Mr. President, also from the Law Department, there's an RFP for on-call engineering services. The Law Department requests permission to advertise an RFP for on-call engineering services. If approved, the sealed proposal will be sent in response to the RFP will be submitted to the city engineer and opened on the March 20th, 2024 public meeting of the Board of Public Works and Safety. At this time, I would like to move to accept the advertisement of the RFP for on-call engineering services.
There's a motion on the floor to accept RFP for on-call engineering services. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion in this matter?
Just to add, so with the RFP going out, we'll receive qualifications information about their services, and then from there, a contract will be formulated and then later approved at an upcoming board meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Also, can you provide clarification on the difference between your engineering and what on-call engineering provide?
Yeah, so if there's any project or situation that requires engineering or their firm, we'll be able to call on them readily for their services, whether it be surveying, analysis, etc.
Thank you for the clarification. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Mr. President, at this time, we would like to table the professional service contract for Tobin and Tolbert. The Law Department, we do not have a copy available to the entire board for review.
Thank you.
Move to table, excuse me.
It's a motion to table item for professional service contract. This one or this,
Just Tobin and
the
Tolbert.
Tolbert and Tolbert contract. Is there a second?
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor of tabling the item for services contract for Tolbert and Tolbert, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstentions? The item is tabled.
Mr. President, also correspondence from the Law Department in reference to professional services for Dr. Roland Walker. Dr. Roland Walker was the previous health commissioner and was carried through as the health commissioner until the official implementation of the new health commissioner, Dr. Janet Seabrook. As such, the city, he continued his services through the month of January. The said contract will approve his normal pay, which is in the amount of $5,153.83 for the month of January of 2024. At this time, I would like to move to approve the professional services for the month of January 1, 2024 through January 31st, 2024 for Dr. Roland Walker.
There's a motion on the floor for payment for services for Dr. Roland Walker. Is there a second for that?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on that payment? Hearing none, would you give me a roll call on this payment?
Member Green,
Yes.
Member Allen,
Yeah. Yes.
Vice President Dumas,
Yes.
and President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 4 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 4-0, the payment of services for Dr. Roland Walker has been approved.
Mr. President, the correspondence from the Law Department is to approve professional service contract for the City of Gary's new Health Commissioner, Dr. Janet Seabrook. Her tenure began with the City of Gary February 1st, 2024, and this is for approval for February 1st, 2024 to December 31st of 2024. It will be in the same existence in which the total is $61,000 for the year, minus the first month of January, and a total of $5,153.83 as that was covered by the previous health commissioner. At this time, I would like to move to accept the professional services contract for Dr. Janet Seabrook.
There's a motion to accept a services contract for Dr. Janet Seabrook for the remainder of 2024. Can I get a second for that motion?
Mr. President, may I request a change to the motion? The source of funding is not attached. I'm assuming it's the same as Roland Walker, but we will need it attached for the finance department in order to process it. So if we can pass it pending, the QC40 to be attached?
If you'd like to restate your motion, please.
Yes, I would like to move to accept the professional services contract for Dr. Janet Seabrook pending the attachment and verification of the QC40 for documentation purposes. For the remainder of 24, excuse me.
Is there a second for the restated motion?
Second.
Any discussion? May I have roll call for approval, please?
Member Green,
Yes.
Member Allen,
Yes.
Vice President Dumas,
Yes.
and President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 4 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 4-0, the service contract for Dr. Janet Seabrook has been approved, pending the certification or verification of payment source.
Mr. President, correspondence from the Law Department in reference to Charles Taylor, TPA. Charles Taylor, TPA, a third-party administrator, provides services in regards to the City of Gary's workers' compensation plan pursuant to the terms. This contract will be for the 2024 calendar year and will be in the total amount of $41,900. This is a standing contract from the previous year. At this time, I would like to move to accept the professional services contract of Charles Taylor, TPA.
There's a motion on the floor to accept the professional service contract for Charles Taylor, TPA. Is there a second for the motion?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Can I ask if there's any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, may I have roll call for the approval?
Member Green,
Yes.
Member Allen,
Yes.
Vice President Dumas.
Yes.
President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 4 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 4-0, the professional service contract of Charles Taylor, TPA has been approved.
Mr. President, the professional services contract for Helios Consulting by way of the Law Department. This is a professional service contract to provide, sorry, my computer froze, y'all. Provide professional services contract of lobbying to the Gary Common Council, and of course, it won't open up. Thank you, sir. And for the calendar year for 2024, for the remainder of the calendar year for 2024, with March beginning by way of lobbying rules, total service of the contract will be compensated in the amount of $5,000 per month. At this time, I would like to move to accept the professional services contract for Helios Consulting.
I'd like. It's been moved and seconded to accept the contract for Helios Consulting. I am reading this on paper that doesn't freeze.
Me too.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing no discussion, may I have a roll call?
Member Green?
Yes.
Somebody's on.
I'm on now.
Okay. Member Green,
Yes.
Member Allen,
Yes.
Vice President Dumas.
Yes.
And President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 4 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 4-0, the contract has been approved.
Mr. President, this time I move to table the addendum for final December 23rd, 2023 invoice for Attorney Darnell Lyles. The Law Department is still finalizing that addendum. There was reference to a final payment not being paid out for Attorney Darnell Lyles for services provided last year.
There's a motion on the floor to table the final payment or vote of the final payment for the attorney Darnell Lyles. Can I get a second on the motion? It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing no discussion, may I get a roll call?
Member Green,
Yes.
Member Allen,
Yes.
Vice President Dumas,
Yes.
and President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 4 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 4-0, the vote for the final payment for Darnell Lyles has been tabled.
Mr. President, the final correspondence from the Law Department is in reference to the ARPA Small Business Grants. The following business grants are the remaining of the grants that are approved. They've signed their contract and are ready for payment upon completion of the entire program. We have 913 LLC in the amount of $7,500, About Face and Beauty for $7,500, More Empowerment and Destiny Outreach Center in the amount of $10,000, Champion Windows of Today, $10,000, Imani Novas, Inc., $10,000, Flawless Treats and Catering, $10,000, Splat Zone in the amount of $7,500, UV Clean in the amount of $10,000, Walking with the Purpose Inc., $10,000, Wounds on Wheels LLC in the amount of $7,500, Imani's Closet in the amount of $7,500, and Jackson Transportation's Immoral's Closet in the amount of $7,500, and Jackson's Transportation Services in the amount of $7,500. At this time, Mr. President, I'd like to move to accept all of these final small business grants for the ARPA funds to be approved by the Board of Works.
There's a motion on the floor to accept the last 12 business grants for the ARPA funds in 2024. Can I have a second to approve that payment?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions on the small business grant payment? Hearing no discussion, would you do a roll call, please, for approval?
Member Green,
Yes.
Member Allen,
Yes.
Vice President Dumas,
Yes.
and President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 4 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 4-0, the approval of the last 12 ARPA dollars for small business grants has been approved. At this point, I'd like to go on to correspondence.
You go ahead and do
Mr. President, at a prior meeting, the Finance Department submitted, asked for permission to submit an RFQ for advertisement for inventory assessment. Wanted to report on what we received. So on March the 1st, we've only received one proposal, and that is from Cherry Beckert. And that is the only one that we received for the city of Gary, for the proposal that was advertised.
At this time, I'll move to accept the inventory, the response for the inventory assessment.
There's a motion on the floor to accept the RFQ response for inventory assessment. Is there a second?
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we do a roll call, please.
Member Green,
Yes.
Member Allen,
Yes.
Vice President Dumas,
Yes.
and President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 4 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 4-0, the RFQ inventory assessment has been approved.
Mr. President, we received correspondence from the police department in reference to a resignation. We received the resignation from Chief Kent, by way of Chief Kennett, in reference to Trevon Warnsby. Trevon Warnsby did provide his letter of resignation. It is signed by Trevon as well as dated. And also it has been notarized. Having received this, his effective last day of employment was March 1st, 2024. At this time, I would like to move to accept the resignation from the Gary Police Department in reference to Officer Trevon Warnsby.
There is a motion on the floor to accept the resignation of Officer Trevon Warnsby. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, may we do roll call, please?
Member Green,
Yes.
Member Allen,
Yes.
Vice President Dumas,
Yes?
and President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 4 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 4-0, the resignation of Officer Trayvon Warnsby from the Gary City Police has been accepted. Item number 6, unfinished business. Are there any unfinished business matters? Item number 7, new business. Any new business for the board?
Yes, Mr. President. We have another request for a road closure for the address of 700 to 710 Broadway. C. Lee Construction Services is requesting a temporary road closure of West 7th Avenue from Broadway to Washington Street to safely demolish a building that has been determined structurally unsound. Work shall be completed within the days of March 11th to March 22nd. The engineering department has reviewed this request and has no objections. We would like the contractor to provide a 72-hour notice to Public Works, nearby schools, and to coordinate with public safety.
There's a motion on the floor to accept a temporary road closure on West 7th Avenue due to a demolition. Is there a second?
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on this matter? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of accepting this temporary road closure on West 7th, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? The matter is approved.
Mr. President, I also have for new business, there was a slight error in the contract for, that was approved at the last Board of Works meeting in reference to Mr. Outlaw's contract. The dollar amount did not have the cents on them. It was for $2,666 on the original contract. It should have read $2,666.67. For the sake of ensuring that we rectify our records, I am making a motion to amend the contract to, by way of amendment, to have it read $2,666.67.
There's a motion on the floor to amend the contract from our last meeting for $2,666.67. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the matter? Hearing no discussion, let's do a roll call on this.
Member Green,
Yes.
Member Allen,
Yes.
Vice President Dumas,
Yes?
and President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 4 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 4-0, the dollar amount has been approved to be changed.
Mr. President, we also have, by way of new business, correspondence from the Community Development Department in reference to new bids. You got it. Thank you. On February 14th, 2024, bids were received for CDBG rehabilitation work and for the reference properties. Please be advised that the quality of and trust certified heating and cooling was one of the 2 contractors and that are bidding on these properties for the HVAC rehabilitation. Accordingly, we're recommending that the contractor be awarded the bids for CDBG EMG rehabilitation work and indicated properties and prices. So the first one is Quality and Trust for 1129 Wickham Street in the amount of $4,900. Also for 4727 West 15th Avenue in the amount of $4,900. The 1321 Roosevelt Place for $5,500 and 4370 Maryland Street for $5,900. At this time, Mr. President, I'd like to move to accept the following awards and bids from the Community Development Department in reference to CDBG funds.
There's a motion on the floor to accept bids in reference to CBDG funds to be awarded.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Are all these on HVAC systems?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Member Green,
Yes.
Member Allen,
Yes.
Vice President Dumas.
Yes.
And President Suggs.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 4 yes, 0 no.
With a vote of 4-0, we have approved the HVAC CBDG funding awards. Trent, do we have any public comments?
Checking the comments now. Give me 1 second. Okay, Mike, you can proceed with no comments.
Thank you. The list here shows no one signing up for public comments. Is there anyone who wishes to speak before the board? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The meeting has been adjourned. Thank you for your attendance.